is a story that was written the year after the very first Earth Day. This story was written in 1971, 50 years ago this year, and it is a cautionary tale of what could happen to our planet Earth if we don't take care of it. The Lorax. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax stood just as long as it could, until someone lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why did someone lift it somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? Well, the Onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays up in his lurkum at the top of his store. He stays in his lurkum, cold under the floor, where he makes his own clothes out of muffled moof. And sometimes, on dank midnights in August, he peeks out of his shutters and speaks of how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents, a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. And then he pulls up the pail and makes a most careful count to make sure that you've paid him the proper amount. And then he hides what you paid away in his snub, that secret, strange hole in his groovulous glove. And he grunts.
I will call you by whispermaphone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone.
Schlup. Down schlups the whispermaphone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, for they have to go down through that snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he has smallish bees in his nose.
Now I'll tell you how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the Swami swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile, in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees, I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts were much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart, and in no time at all I had built a small shop. Then I took a small axe and I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him. That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy.
Mister,
He said with a sawdusty sneeze,
I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, from the top of my lungs.
He was very upset as he shouted and puffed.
What is that thing you have made from my truffle a tuft?
Look, Lorax, I said, but there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, for curtains, or covers for bicycle seats.
Sir, you are crazy with greed. No one in the world will buy that full thneed.
But the very next minute I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. And he happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy.
I repeat, I speak for the trees.
I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers, my uncles, and aunts. I said, listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn right at Weehawken. Sharp left at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of the truffle trees. Then, oh, baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow, so I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees in one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before. And that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped.
I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who play in the shade in their barbaloot suits, happily eating truffle fruits. And now, thanks to you hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle fruits to go around. And my poor barbaloots have got the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys.
And he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger. So bigger I got. I biggered my factory. I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons. I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the north, to the east, to the west. I went right on biggering, selling more thneeds. I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes.
I am the Lorax.
He coughed and he whiffed, he sneezed and he snuffled, he snargled, he
Onceler!
cried with a crofulous croak.
Onceler! You're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, They can't sing a note. No one can sing with smog in his throat. Oh, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here. I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year until they can escape from the smog that you've smoggered up here. And what's more, let me say a few words about Gluppity Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night, night and day, making gluppity glup and sloppity slop. And what do you do with that leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler, you. You're glupping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, they'll get woefully weary, looking for a place in search of water that isn't so smeary.
And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Onceler. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you I intend on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, every one, all waved my goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog, without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I've sat here and worried with all of my heart. But now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Plant a whole forest. Protect it from axes that hack. Then maybe the Lorax and all of his friends will come back.